So, and the workers went unto their supervisors and they said, it is a plan of dung, and none may abide the odor thereof. And the supervisors went on to the managers and saying it's a container of excrement, and it is very strong and such that none can abide by it. And the managers went on to the directors saying it's a vessel of fertilizer and none may abide by its strength, right? And the directors went on to the vice presidents and saying to them, it promotes growth and it's powerful, right? And the president looked upon the plan and saw it was good, and the plan became policy. And that's how shit happens. So, okay, maybe not as funny as I thought it would be. If you laugh at my joke, the class is going to go a lot quicker. If you don't laugh at my joke, we're going to end at like 12 today, okay?
Nice laugh.
Okay. So a helicopter was flying above the city the other day when an electrical malfunction disabled all of the aircraft's electronic navigation and communication equipment, and due to the clouds and the haze, the pilot could not determine the helicopter's position, right? So here's an important thing. It's important to know where you're going. It's important to know what you want, but it's also important to know where you're starting from, right? So with any outcome, knowing your outcome is really key, but to know where you're starting from is a good thing also. So the pilot couldn't determine the helicopter's position, and of course to set a course to steer towards the airport, the pilot saw a building and he flew toward the building, and excited, he drew a handwritten sign and held it in the window of the helicopter saying, "Where am I?" And in large letters it was written, and the people in the building quickly responded to the aircraft and drew a large sign and held it up in the building window, and there the sign said, "You're in a helicopter." So, the pilot smiled and waved and looked at his map and determined the course and the street, and he set away to the airport and safely landed. And after they were on the ground, the co-pilot asked the pilot, how realizing you're in a helicopter, how that sign helped you determine the position of where we are. And the pilot responded, "I knew that that had to be the Mac building because of their answers to help are always technically correct, but not always the most useful answers." So hopefully today we're going to get you some really useful answers on creating a vision of what it is that you want to accomplish, to really get clear on an outcome. So the key thing is to realize, first and foremost, what do you want, right? It sounds like a very simple question. What do you want? What is your outcome? Okay, so an outcome is the result of doing many things. So when you set a goal, has anyone ever set a goal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so there's ways to set a goal where it's actually an achievable goal. It's doable. So first thing that you want to do when you're setting out an outcome is you want to be clear on what you want, not what you don't want. So the outcome has to be stated in a positive direction, meaning I want to have a certain amount of money, and it's not that I don't want to be poor. It's not that I don't want to lose out on something. It's not I don't want to miss any opportunities. It's you want to take advantage of the opportunities. You want to go into a certain direction. So there's two basic directions that an outcome can be motivated by. The first one is an away from motivation. So it's getting away from the pain in your life, okay? Getting away from something you don't want, okay? And like I said before, a true outcome is always stated in positive, and that's the other direction towards what you do want. something that's going to bring you pleasure, something that's going to bring you happiness, something that's going to make you feel better, and that's going to give you positive results in your life. So there's a benefit to both parts of these when you're creating an outcome, and you want to stay motivated and you want to really get clear on what you're going to do towards making this happen. So a lot of people start with the away from motivation, and really what that does when you're clear on what you want to get away from is it gets you to think about what can you do sooner rather than later. And Ariel's going to get into, the taking action part. But when you're clear and you set the right kind of goal, the right kind of outcome for yourself, that's kind of built into it, that you want to get away from the pain. And that gives you a sense of urgency towards what you want to accomplish. And when you have that urgency, then you can move in the other direction and get clear on where are you going. So when you have a vision for what you want, when you look towards pleasure in your life, when you look towards the things that you want to accomplish, then that gives you a very definite direction. So the direction is important. Just like when you're programming your GPS, like I said earlier, you have to know where you're starting from and where you want to be, and then realize that you have the resources within you to get there. So you want to state it in a positive language. You want to be clear on what you do want. So a lot of that is looking that it's not about a state, because if the state of mind is really just to feel good, well, you can do that just by remembering a time when you felt good. So in setting a smarter goal, you want to be very specific on what it is that you do want. So that outcome is not just success. I know today's overview of the class is that it's the 5 principles of success. But one of the ways to actually achieve success is to be clear on what does success mean to you. So when you have success in your life, when you have this level of achieving your outcome, what specifically will you be doing, or what will you be doing differently? So when you start to focus on what's going to actually change in your life, what's going to change, not necessarily even just about your thinking, but what's going to change about the actions, what's going to change about the results in your life. When you start to focus on having that end result in mind, it kind of draws you towards that, and you're motivated away from the pain of not having it. So a lot of times when people come to me and they want to be really clear on the choice of what they do want, it's sometimes creating that disparity of realizing that life is not only choice, but it's how big is that choice. So if I said, I'm going to offer you the winning ticket to the lottery, and all you have to do, and Ariel, you have an easy one because you're already in California, but if it was for the California lottery and everyone else is maybe has to travel to get there, or let's say it's somewhere in England, it's the lottery from England, so we'd all have to fly to England to claim the ticket, right? So would you grab the ticket and book a flight and fly to England to claim the ticket? Now, the thing is, you have to get more information. You have to find out how much are you actually going to win, because it might cost thousands of dollars to book a last-minute flight to get there. So when you're clear on what your outcome is and you're clear on the actual choice, it makes it easier to make those decisions. So if the outcome is $1,000, maybe not. If it's $10,000, now it might start to interest you. If it's $100,000, now you might start to be really interested, and it's going to offset the cost of getting there. If it's $1 million, now you really have a definite interest in accomplishing that and getting there, and you start to create a plan of whatever it will take. But if it's $100 million, hey, you'll charter a flight, you'll do whatever it takes to get there. So it really creates that disparity. Now the choice is not just, okay, I want to make more money. It's, do you want to go claim that ticket for $100 million, okay, and get on the next flight to get there and make that happen? Or do you want to lose out and not have that $100 million? So when you have that bigger disparity between the choice, it makes it a lot easier to decide what you want. So a lot of people start off with what they don't want, but then you can flip that and look at the opposite and say, okay, so if you did know what you want, what would it be? And to be really clear on making that decision and have that outcome clear in mind. You want to also include a couple of factors in this outcome. So it's what you want. It's stated in a positive language. It's a direction of towards something. Okay. It's not just a feeling. It's an actual something tangible that's testable within your experience, that you can measure it somehow, that it's not just I want more money. It's I want $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year additional income on top of the money that you're already making. And I'll know that I have that because I'll be able to see my bank account going up, and I'll be able to add up all the money coming in, the checks, and the different ways that you track how much money is coming in. So it's testable within your experience. You're very clear on what your outcome is, and you want it to be done in a way that's ecological. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go rob a bank, and I'm going to have an extra $200,000 because I robbed the bank. So you want it to be what's called ecological, which means that it's good for you and others within your world and the world around you, not just now, but long term. So, if someone was to rob a bank, they'd have the money, but then they'd always have to be looking over their shoulder. They'd always have to be thinking about, getting caught. They'd have to realize that someone lost that money in order for them to get that money. They didn't actually earn it. So when you actually set a plan and it's ecological and you have a way of achieving it that's good for you and others now and long term, then it makes it a much more doable and achievable outcome for you. So you're stating it in positives. It's testable within your experience. You have tangible evidence of knowing when you get it. Okay. And it's ecological. It's good for others now and long term. Okay. And these are aspects of an outcome that we're going to get into a little bit more detail in other classes where we really get into a well-formed outcome. But the other thing that you have to look at is what stops or prevents you from getting that now. And that can be part of your outcome, is to overcome some of those obstacles. Okay. And this is really to do whatever it takes to get your outcome. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in this class today, about overcoming those obstacles and having a way of being resilient.
That's great, Mark. That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. I have clients who I work with. They say they want to make a lot of money, but then, I start working with them and we found out that, beneath it, there's like there's a sense of belief that if they make a lot of money, then, their friends won't like them anymore because they were programmed that, the money is the root of all evil, or, rich people are greedy. So subconsciously, they feel like there's an obstacle between them and getting the goal or the outcome that they want. That's why they hurt themselves and they self jeopardize the success in a way. So that's why when we talk about know your outcome, make sure it's ecological, making sure like, okay, once I achieve my goals, how that's going to impact not just me, how it's going to impact my environment, and how that's going to impact, the society, my family, my business, my friends, all that. Just make sure that this outcome is, there's nothing in the way, or there's no, not rejection, but there's no concern that could, hinder something else. So, and if there is, that's where it's, need to be addressed as well, because otherwise, your conscious wants to move you towards your outcome, but your subconscious is going to stop you.
Right. So another aspect of that is also that it's initiated by you and maintained by you, which means it's within your control. It's within your locus of control in how you can achieve this goal. So it's something you can do to make it happen, or it's something that you can stop doing to, like Cal was talking about, you can let go of your limiting beliefs. Those are things that you can affect in your life. You want to work with people, you want to help people, you want to coach people, whatever it is that you're looking to do, you want to sell people things. These are things that you can take action, right? Like, and you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to take that action. But the first thing is, it has to be within your control. It's not like, oh, well, if the economy would just improve, then I could make more money. or if these people would change their beliefs and not be jealous of me making money, then I'd be free to make the money. So it's not up to someone else. You know, the old joke is like, hey, I've been going to therapy for 10 years and my spouse is still exactly the same. They haven't changed yet, you know? So you can't affect the change in someone else. You have to affect it within yourself first, okay? And then your example will maybe inspire the other person to change. But what you have to look at in achieving your outcome for you, what is it that you need to be doing to make that happen? And there's multiple ways to get it. And you have to look at this outcome in a way that what do you need to do? What actions do you need to do to make this goal happen for your life? So it's stated in positive. It's what you do want. It's not getting rid of what you don't want. You can get very specific on it and put it down into something that you can experience with your five senses that makes it real and achievable. It's something that is within your control to make it happen. So it's not like you can affect things in nature that you have no influence on. It's not that you can just instantly change the whole economy of the world. You have to work within the parameters that are presented to you and make it a doable goal for yourself within those parameters that exist, and look at what can I affect? What can I do today towards making this happen? What's within my control towards this outcome? So you have to look at it in a way that is doable and achievable for you. And I know Danny wants to help people. So in helping people, you can learn these skills. This is something that's within your control, to take more classes, to learn, to grow, to expand, to help yourself first, and then to apply that and how you can use that to help others. So I see Claudia, you just joined us. Do you want to share? If you unmute yourself, you can share something that you want to accomplish, and then we can use that to move forward in teaching other segments of the class.
Good morning. Yeah, well, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're saying that what other people would say, but sometimes it's also a blockage that you were born like this and you were placed in this specific society, and you are not worth to make more than that. So usually you make up to that point, and then it's very difficult to move forward, right?
Okay, cool. So the thing is, you know, in looking at it, is it really an achievable goal? Is it something that you can accomplish? And the first thing to look at, and one of the great tools of NLP, is that if someone else has been able to do it, okay, you have available to you all of the resources that they have within yourself, okay, that you can just apply in a way. You just need to learn how to do that. But if someone else can make $200, $300, $400, $1 million a year, okay, then so can you.
So Mark, are you saying that if one person can do something, another person can do, and the only thing that stops is right here in between our ears? It's like our values, our belief system, how we feel about it. Is that what you're saying?
That is a belief that I like to operate from, and that's one of the presuppositions of NLP, and I would agree with that.
Great. Awesome. So would it make sense then? Is that what NLP is all about? Is being able to change your internal representation of how you experience the world and how you register inside, the outcome. Because if every outcome has a picture, it has a sound, it has a taste, it has a smell, it has a feeling. If we register it in a way that is compelling and get us to feel the feelings of already having it, and that's going to allow the law of attraction in a way to kick in and be able to attract that. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I think nothing's going to happen unless you take action, right?
So let's talk about taking action.
Okay.
This is one of the things I'm going to take over. Like we all we all seen the movie The Secret. Like I personally have watched it like 50 times when I was about like 18-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very into it. I was like, oh, just think about it. Just meditate.
What movie?
Positive thinking. What?
What movie are you
The
talking
Secret.
The secret.
about? I've never seen that movie.
Oh, you should watch it. Danny, this is gonna help you. It's like very super metaphysical, but now like we kind of know how it works. So what it is it teaches you to do like positive thinking, like be very positive. And the idea behind this is when you're positive, you're vibrating at a higher frequency. And as a result, in the universe, you're gonna attract things and people into your life vibrating at a similar frequency. So that's the whole like, you know, theory behind The Secret. Is it true? Yes, it is true. It does work that way. But what's the problem there? So the problem there, like I've been watching it since I was 18 and nothing happened in my life. I was like, I'm just gonna keep being positive and, you know, go to class, but without taking notes because, you know, things are just gonna happen for me, right? Because I'm so positive. And nothing happened. Like I failed in school. Like the first year was really bad. And then that's when I realized, you know, if you just sit at home, you just meditate and you just think about things, you work on your mind all day and you're the best like mind worker like you can ever be, nothing's gonna happen for you. If you want a relationship partner, right? You just sit at home. No, it's not gonna happen. You want to have good grade, you don't go to class, it's not gonna happen. If you want a success and you don't want to work, it's not gonna happen. So what's really gonna help is you do take the action. Like when you're vibrating at a higher frequency and you still take the action, you still go do what you need to do, you go to class and you take notes, you study harder than ever, you work at your business harder than ever, and you go out socializing, you present your best self to the people you meet. And what's gonna help is when you do take those action and things will happen for you and happen at a very high speed and then in a very effective way. It's beyond us. Like we know what we know, but there are a lot of things we don't know that's happening behind us that is just happened for you. But nothing's gonna happen until you take action. Another thing is, you know, if you take action, but you gotta make sure it's to the right direction, right? That's why we know your outcome first. Like if someone wants to watch the sunrise, right? It's about morning time. And you're like, yes, I'm gonna take action. I'm just gonna drive to the west. I'm gonna drive to the west. I'm gonna drive to the west. I keep driving. There's no sunrise because the sun rises on the east, not west. So you're taking action to the different direction. It also doesn't work that way. So that's why you have to have the outcome first, and then you set in your GPS, your mental GPS, and you have the car, you start driving, but you have to put the gas pedal down. That's how you can start driving, right? And
so it's
what, Mark?
It's about taking right action.
It's about taking the right
action. Not just any action. It's about taking the right action towards your outcome.
Yeah, exactly. And in NLP, right? So what's blocking us from taking action? A lot of time people have problem. They have procrastination. Like they're like, oh, I know I should do this, but I don't feel like it. My closet is messy. I'm just not gonna look at it. Like it's just procrastinating. How many of you have ever procrastinated before? Yeah, and then it doesn't help with taking action, right? So later in NLP, we're gonna teach you some strategies, some particular skills. Chaining anchor, for example, you can change procrastination into motivation in a heartbeat. So like that can help you with taking action like right away when you don't even feel procrastinating anymore. You just feel like taking action all day. And another thing about taking action, we can also, in terms of taking the right action, we can find out about your strategy about dealing with something, right? Like for example, at work, like, you know, maybe your teacher, your boss, your employee kind of piss you off. Your immediate action before was to get really angry and then want to yell at them. That's like, that was your action before, right? But that doesn't serve you, right? So we want to take the right action and we want to install in you the right strategy. So next time the same thing happens, instead of feeling like, frustrated, angry, I just want to, kill them. We're going to install the strategy. So you'll be feeling like, oh, I guess they make sense. Yeah, I can see their viewpoint. Yeah, I understand how it is. Okay, we can talk about it. You can see how that can kind of make a little difference in your life, right? If you know like when to take action, how to take action, and how to take the right action at the right time. That can help a little bit with your success. Don't you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. And to build on what you're saying, I mean, a lot of the things that we do at times, it stops us from getting where we want to be because of these negative emotions. Like I know myself, if the frustration that I want to get there, like it's just I have all these goals and these outcomes, and I see myself already, and I can hear myself, and I can feel myself already as if it's already happening every single day, and there are certain frustration that comes along with it, that there's some negative emotion of frustration, like, why am I not getting there now? How many of you on this call, like you have this outcome, you have this goal, you know that you can do it, you can see yourself doing it, others can do it, and you want it now, and as a result, you're not getting it now. At times, you feel a little bit frustrated by show of hands. Right? Yeah. And that's not unusual. That's not uncommon. And consider that this is one of the things that it's been stopping us are these negative emotions or the limiting beliefs that's on the way that gets us from moving as fast as we want. So NLP comes in where we're able to dissolve these negative emotions, these hurdles, these challenges in the way, so that, the path, like Ariel was saying, is going to reframing it. It's like, they don't know what you're talking about, versus, I can see their point of view and move on to whatever that you want to move on. So good point, Ariel.
Yeah, so it's really about you taking action. Like we talk about it all day, or you probably hear this all day, but with NLP, like at the end of the practitioner training, when you're certified, we will make sure we install the right mentality and the right way of taking action for you, so you can do this easily and effortlessly, like without unconsciously. It will become your unconscious competence, and you'll be able to take the right action right away whenever you want it. So that's really the outcome, like we envision for you to have at the end of the practitioner training.
So Ariel, when you say install, when you say, like, by the end of the practitioner certification, you'll have these goals installed, or these behaviors installed, or these beliefs installed, what does that mean? I mean, we're not computers. Like, what does that mean?
Or are we? Are you really sure? How does computer work? Computer works by when you get a brand new computer, there's nothing in there. If you install nothing, it doesn't do anything, right? Like the computer runs, like for example, now we're using Zoom. We have to install Zoom first before we can use it, right? And if it serves you, we keep it there, right? And human brain, it's very similar actually to a computer. We are a very powerful computer platform that we have space to install things. So install meaning acquire, like when you're young, you don't know how to speak language yet, and you acquire a language, like you start speaking the language. And that's how you have then you can speak a language without even thinking about it. You can now drive a car without even thinking about it. So it's what we call now like unconscious competence. Like when we say install, it's really like we want to get more program for you that's working, and delete the program that you download before that's not working, whatever, the bad habits you may have in the past. If you procrastinate, for example, you don't like that, we can erase that, and we can upgrade your system. We can install a new program so that runs automatically without you even thinking about it. So that's what I mean by install.
So one of the things that I like to teach people, either clients or students as well, is that the computer was modeled after the way the human mind works. They were trying to duplicate a system, a machine that could work the way that the human mind works. So what NLP did, in my opinion, was kind of flip that model back on itself and say, well, the computer is a useful model to understand how we can get the right programs running in our mind. So if you look at, like the RAM, what you see on your screen, what's actively going on in your computer, that's our conscious mind. If you look at the hard drive, that's more like the subconscious mind. That's the operating system that's running behind the scenes. So when you start to apply that model as a metaphor, not that our mind is actually a computer, it's far greater than an actual computer. A computer would have to be the size of the planet and cooled with all the water on the planet running through it every second just to run almost what our mind is capable of doing. Okay, so the model of the computer is useful to understand. And then the cool thing is, tying in with the law of attraction, is there's the internet, right? So there's our conscious awareness is the RAM. That's what you see on the screen of your computer. Your other than conscious mind is what's stored on the hard drive and your operating system. But then there's the internet, the superconscious, the connectedness with other computers in the world, that we're all connected energetically with each other. And that when you want to search for something in your life, right, what you do is you focus on it, right? You don't just type into Google, tell me what I'm looking for, right? No, the more specific you search Google, the more specific of an answer you get. And you can find just about anything on Google, right? I had a friend of mine, and I'm not the youngest one in this class probably. So a friend of mine is trying to program, some simple thing on their computer, like they're trying to send an email on their computer and they don't know how to do it, right? And then, they were trying to program their DVD player to watch a movie. And they asked their sister, how do I do it? And the sister said, look it up on YouTube. There's probably a video of someone that'll teach you how to do it. So when you get specific on what it is that you want and what you want to learn, and you know what your outcome is, there's ways to search for that. There's ways to put it out into the universe of affirming what you want. So what I want to do is a real quick exercise right now, which is going to tie in with the sensory acuity, because part of knowing and being aware if you're achieving your outcome and using your senses to achieve it is to use your senses to create it. So along the lines of installing right now, and I see Eddie is not driving anymore, so you can all participate with this. So what I want you to do is just close your eyes for a minute, and I want you to just in your mind's eye, okay, imagine what it is that you want to accomplish. Imagine what your outcome is. So see it clearly, what you want your outcome to be. But imagine it from the point of view of being in your own body, as if you're actually there. Imagine yourself moving into the future at some point when you've already accomplished your outcome and you have it. And you can look through your own eyes in your imagination and see what you'll be seeing when you have your outcome. And hear the different sounds around you. Have people saying, wow, or that's amazing, or even noticing what you're saying to yourself. Yes, I did it. Cool. And just like really go through your own internal dialogue and what you're hearing around you, and what evidence you'll have in your life that makes you realize that you're accomplishing your outcome now. You're going to be hearing feedback from people that you're helping, that you're interacting with, that you're communicating more effectively with them, and how they're letting you know that you got that, okay? And then you just get this feeling in your body. You can almost feel the hair on your arms standing up, that you just feel like you're shining. This is who you're meant to be. This is what your life purpose is, and you're on track with it, and you're accomplishing it, and you can feel it in your body, and notice where you feel it in your body and what that feels like and what direction that's moving in. So you can see it clearly in front of you through your own eyes. You can hear the different sounds associated with it. You can even get a taste of this wonderful taste of success in your mouth, right? How deliciously sweet, and notice how fragrant it is and how wonderful it is, and take the time to smell all the flowers and not just the roses, and just like really get the aroma of what it is that you're accomplishing in your life, and the people whose lives will be inspired by you just by being an authentic version of yourself. So you're seeing it through your own eyes. You're feeling it in your body. You're hearing the sounds around you. You're hearing the sound of your own voice and what you're saying to yourself, accomplishing this now. And you're tasting it and smelling it, right? And just really lock this in and notice how you can link this to the word. I want you to think of a word that relates to your goal right now. And as you you picture this word, as you say this word to yourself, as you feel where this word is in your life right now, you take all of this, reach out with your
Did we lose Mark?
Yeah.
He froze. That's a great post.
Great pose. Oh my gosh.
I thought it was just me. It was like, we're just like, Rachel. He was like, okay, we just stay there. Let's enjoy this feeling. Let's just stay there. Okay. So now now you have the picture, right? You feel exactly how you feel. You're right there. You smell what you smell. You see what you see. You hear what you hear. Feel how you feel. Wow, that's a great feeling, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, now I want you to step out of your body. Step out of your body, and now you can look at yourself. You can look at yourself in the picture, and you can see exactly how everything unfolds. And now I want you to have that picture. It's very bright, it's very big, and I want you to, with intention, with certainty this is gonna happen, and blow really hard into the picture, like, let's do it 3 times. Knowing it's going to come true. One more time. Okay, now we have all the intentions, all the power, all the certainty into the picture. Now I want you to let it flow, let it flow. See it drifting away into exactly at the right time into your future. You know exactly when it's supposed to land. And let it beautifully, calmly, elegantly, gracefully just land it right there in your future, right there. And once it lands on your timeline, your future, lock it in right there. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. It's there. You can come back now. Knowing it's going to come true for you guys.
That's very good exercise. I remember doing this in the NLP certification practitioner, and recently Ariel, when we were together at the trainer. And I love that feeling towards the end when you just lock it in. It's just like now it's just like locked in into your hard drive, into your other than conscious. Now that you find yourself, you have no way but to go and accomplish that goal now, and you allow yourself to move towards that direction. So we have 15 more minutes left. Let's jump on to the next step of that.
So next step is behavior flexibility. What does it mean by having behavior flexibility? So in NLP, we have a presupposition. It's called, there's no failure, there's only feedback. There's no failure, there's only feedback. What does it mean? Like when you're driving, right? I live in LA, so traffic is really bad. And sometimes when traffic, like when you see there's a red line, like, on GPS in front of you, like I will be, if I drive that road, I will be stuck. Like we all have the experience. So what you do is you take a different road. You can drive on a smaller road, which there's no car, and you can get to your goal much faster, right? So it means like really there are different ways to get your outcome. But now we have the outcome, we have your goals in your future. And sometimes you're like, yes, I want to make like $1 million like next year, but like I just started, and then it's already December like 25th. I'm only like 100,000 in. Like it's probably not gonna happen. And it doesn't mean it's not gonna happen like for you forever. It just means it's not gonna happen now. It just maybe the time is not realistic. Maybe we just need to give up ourselves more time or more skill. So what we do is not like we just beat ourselves like, oh, you're a failure, oh, you're no good, oh, you never make $1 million. No, we don't do that. So behavior flexibility is also mental behavior flexibility, meaning you think, okay, this is not gonna happen this year, but I'll make it next year. I will change my goals to adapt to what's reality, what's realistic for me. And then on the other hand, once I make the goal again, I will have my behavior flexibility into making that goal. Like, for example, if I used to work in a corporate job, I was like, yeah, I want to make a lot of money working in a corporate job, but it doesn't happen that way. I have a paycheck. It's a high paycheck, but it's very stable. Like, even with bonus, it doesn't reach that. So like behavior flexibility wise, I will have to quit my job and start my own company, because I know this is the only way like I can have that my income would be based on my effort. So that's the only way I can reach the goal, like wherever my goal is. And behavior flexibility in terms of interacting with other people. In NLP, we have a thing called report. What this report is, you learn later. I'm pre-teaching right now. So what it is you mirror and match with the person to build this kind of the feeling like you kind of know each other, like you're in the same frequency, you're in the same Zoom. And if someone, I'm pre-teaching again, but this is something you learned, it's very exciting and it works really well, is you need to model, like you need to match their, for example, physiology. Like their physiology, their words, you can match their facial expression, physical body movement. And what you often find is when you find things in common with the person, when you have the kind of flexibility to adapt to their model of the world, you have a greater success rate of communicating with someone, and your message will get through them like much easier. So it's almost like, in a simple term, it's almost like you need to speak like Japanese to a Japanese person, like speak their own language. But in order to do that, you need more language skills, right? So in order to have more behavior flexibility in NLP, you need to learn all the modalities and learn exactly how everything works. So when in different times, you would know exactly what to use and become very competent in terms of, in every situation. We want to prepare you for every situation that you want to succeed in, and you have all the tools you need to succeed there.
So Ariel, to summarize, have behavioral flexibility, is it fair to say, I heard you say, like, regarding when you are stuck in traffic, you need to be flexible and find a different route. So you need to find, a different route, basically, whether it's, you have a certain way. Many times we think that, to get to our goal, this is the only way we get there. But then when you surrender and you find out that you just be flexible and go along with the energy where it's kind of like, feels right in a way. How many of you have been in places where, just something that you want, it just feels right and everything just coming together, like in a state of flow, right? It's kind of like the signal, the body, your other than conscious, is giving you the signal that you're on the right track. And how many times that you set goals in your mind, yet you find like more like it's a grind, to get there, right? And you know that this is kind of like, in a way, that this is a signal that your other than conscious is giving you that you're not on the right track. So having the flexibility to first to be intuitive and get in touch with your other than conscious and have these signals to be present and be aware of these signals and be flexible to move around it. So if you get the signal that this is grind, maybe seek help, right? It's like in the GPS, you had to install a GPS to know that there's other ways to go. So in your case, could be maybe like, obviously, like you're here, you're getting some training, you have them coaching, you may be modeling someone who's in your industry. Like I know, Eddie, you're running a very successful clinic, and one of your goals at some point is to have the clinic to run itself without having you to be in it, every single day. I mean, you're a great doctor, and imagine how much you even be more successful if your job is to go and just attend conferences and be able to meet with the right people and get the latest technology into your clinic, and be able to open another clinic perhaps. And now you're having this, you're raising the standards of dental clinic in your community without you having to be on the chair and making the surgery yourself, right? So having to model that, looking around who's doing this, and be able to seek model them, whether it's not just, in their values. It starts all in here. Like, what do they believe? Their value system, their belief system, right? How they look at the world. That's where it starts. But also their physiology, like, when they show up, who they are, be able to model them in every way. So, having a model to model, and then being able to actually take the action and model them. So that's step number 4. Have behavioral flexibility. Right now, we're going to.
So I'm back. Can everyone hear me?
From the physiology of excellence. So what do you mean when you say operate from the physiology of excellence?
So there's behavioral flexibility, which I just had to demonstrate by realizing that my internet went down. So I'm coming to you live from my cell phone now. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah,
That's a very good demonstration, okay. Mark. Good
cool.
time.
Okay, and the thing is, I could have sat there and go, oh, this sucks. I'm off the call. I'm supposed to be teaching it, But no, it actually gave me a chance to say, okay, I'm operating from a physiology, from a psychology of excellence, right? I am going to teach this class no matter what it takes. I am going to give you the content that I promised to give you today. Okay, they're working down the block from my office, okay, and they probably stuck a big machine into one of the cables, and then the internet went down probably for the whole area. But you know what? My phone's working, here I am. So what does that mean to operate from a psychology and a physiology of excellence? Well, it's more than just like saying, oh, I'm optimistic, or like I can do this, but what is it about you that allows you to feel that? So like play around with this for a minute. Like everybody, like put your head down a little bit and just kind of slump your shoulders and make your internal voice go kind of like, right? And then notice how motivated you are right now, right? Okay, but or stand up straight, put your shoulders back, put your head up. Get this kind of momentum going in your mind. Like look, see a brighter picture of the world. And now like you start to feel more optimistic. You just kind of feel like you want to jump into life. So when Ariel was talking earlier, she was talking about, taking action. Okay. So, there's 3 frogs sitting on a log on a hot summer day. Okay. And they're all just like moping around. Oh, it's so hot. It's so hot. But then one frog decides, he says, you know what? He says, I'm going to jump in that water. It's a cool, clear pond. I'm going to cool off. I'm going to take action. That's my goal. That's my outcome. I'm going for it. I'm going to make it happen, right? So how many frogs are left on the log? There's still actually 2 frogs left on the log because the one only decided to jump in. So you have to take the action. It's not just about having the outcome that you want to jump in. It's not just about having knowing what the action is that you need to take. It's not just about having the sensory acuity to know that, hey, I'm getting feedback that I'm on track or not on track, right? The way that you get that is by being flexible and realizing that you got to do whatever it takes and you just got to make it happen, and you got to overcome the obstacles, and you got to jump in, and you got to have that attitude of, okay, so maybe there's a branch I got to get over. Maybe there's a wall. Maybe there's an obstacle in my way, but I'm going to go through it, over it, under it, around it, whatever it takes. Okay. I'm going to make sure that this happens because I have a responsibility to myself, to the world around me, to be the best that you can be. Okay. And that's what this is about, operating from this level of excellence where who you are and what you're doing is what you're meant to be doing. Cal.
That's great. And we have 4 minutes left. So if there's no other more content to give, let's just open it to the room. It could be a question. What do we need to know? What questions do you have? And what did you learn? Any of them. So who would like to share?
Quick question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Eddie.
Yes.
First of all, I just want to say I love that visualization and that, man, it was pretty freaking powerful. I love that. Thank you. Even though you got cut off at the end, I felt like hanging. I was just like, man, what? There was a climax and I was just waiting to get to the end, but it was awesome. Thank you for that. One quickly is when you guys talk about locking it in. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? And if it's something that I can talk off air with Cal, I'll do that, because I don't want to take up the time when we're on the air.
Yeah, so
I think this is a great point along the lines of what Ariel was talking about, programming, right? So that's part of locking it in, and that's why I had everybody attach all of that wonderful picture and everything. I hope that you got the end part where I said pick a word. Okay,
No.
so all of that sensory experience, the 5 senses, are linked up to that word.
Okay.
And that's what we mean by locking it in. The word becomes a trigger or an anchor.
Got it.
So you're attaching it to something and it locks it in.
Perfect.
The feelings, the visual, and all of that. Okay. And
okay,
you can, I'm sure you can talk to Cal more offline about it, because this is really one of the biggest things of NLP and creating the right program for your success.
Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome. Ariel, you got something to add to this?
No, there's also a process that I also teach. It's called creating your future. And we teach you systematically, exactly, kind of similar to what we just did, but very in depth. And then locking it in the future, like how to make it actually manifest in your life. There's another procedure for that. And then that's much more detailed process. And you can definitely talk to Kyle about it later.
Right. And you're going to be in the practitioner certification, Eddie. So you're going to have it all. Okay. All right, good. Anybody else? Quick comments? Yes, Danny, go ahead. We have 2 more minutes.
I was actually commenting on something that I was pondering the other day. I think we were talking about communication, and it was mentioned that only 7% of our communication is through words, and that like 55% was through our physiology, like our posture and stuff. I was wondering how that's possible, because like I know like a lot of times like I'll be sitting there like sluggish talking to my friend, and we'll both be laying back like this, and it won't really be like, we won't be feeling like I don't know, we'll be talking about something completely, our communication is like, we're not like negative or like indicative.
Okay, so Danny, let me real quick do it for you. Is that okay? Just kind of like get you the feeling of it. Okay, so I think I did that before. So right now, go ahead and like lift your arms in the air, just like that. Okay, and look up to the ceiling. Okay, look at the ceiling with a big grin on your face, and just say out loud, "I'm so sluggish.
I'm so sluggish."
Okay, how do you feel about that?
Right.
It didn't fit.
It didn't fit. Why? Because
right. So it's an incongruent
your body
message.
is saying something, right? It's our body saying that I'm excited, I'm motivated, yet the words, they don't fit. The words is not as impactful as the body. Does that make sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if I tell you right here, you know what? I am so excited to have you here today. Right? Look at the words I'm saying. The words doesn't say I'm excited. I'm saying I'm excited, but look at my body. Like I don't know if you can see, my arms are crossed and I'm like just standing there. I'm so excited to have you here. It doesn't make sense. The words are 7%, whereas the body language, the body is saying something else. The body always wins. Okay. If I tell you right now, okay, open your right palm, okay. And what I want to do is I want you to bring your right palm, just this right palm right to your chin. Okay, bring it right to your chin. Why did you bring it to the head? Why did you bring it to the head? Yeah, right. See, you always follow the body. You don't follow the words that we say. I hope that demonstrated that for you.
I thought you said the wrong word.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being on this call.
When you ask someone.
It's been a great call. It's 8:01. I know you have things to do. So thank you for being on the call, and it was beautiful being here with you today. And until next Wednesday, go ahead and follow your dreams, take action. Well done, everybody. Give yourself a big hand. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Ariel, for leading a beautiful training here today. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.